Those that get shown Hades and those that get told by either Jesus or an angel, what are you doing here? It's not yet your time. Their lives just suck, dog. Afterwards, nothing works out. They go from being a Wall Street, like, big fat chunky kahuna's broker to trying to make ends meet and nothing. They lose everything. They lose homes. They lose clout, cars. Business deals suddenly crash and burn. It's like, what is going on? I survived a near-death experience and now my business is just dying. What in the world? The devil tends to leave worldlings to their wiles. Go and take your drugs, do what you want to do. We'll help you party when you're at the club, and will make you feel nice and happy when you're taking a drug. But if you come back from an NDE and I see the angels of God around you, I'm gonna know that one day's one day. I might not know who every last human being is, Mamela. This is the devil for you, okay? The guy be out here killing all them babies in Israel because, not Israel, but Egypt, because he knows that there's going to be someone born that's going to crush his heel. So he tries to eradicate the people of God. Look at how much anti-Semitism is still going on in the streets today. Oh yeah, I see what God's plan is for the Jews. So he just has them really going through a lot. They're chosen as a collective. Therefore, they're all just going through hell on earth. Everybody unreasonably dislikes them. Everybody unreasonably accuses them of everything. Everybody unreasonably blames them for every crack and crevice in a wall. It's weird. It don't make no kind of sense if you're any kind of rational. But like, it's happening to a point where it has its own coined term, otherwise known as anti-Semitism. Like I said, as a collective, they're a chosen people. So of course, Satan is all up in there, grow like white on rice. But Christians, those who would ultimately come to Christ, there's no knowing. We're all in a sea of humanity. And at any given time, any one of us at any time in our life can repent. But Satan doesn't know yet. So some Christians have it kind of soft and easy before they get born again, and then they get born again and it's like, yeah, then it sucks. But there are others whose lives just suck from the very get-go or from a certain age. And if you look at these people, there tends to have been something that happened in their life that either brought them back from death or evidently spared them from something grave. Something that spared them from something grave. And this thing here that spared them from something grave, the devil or his entities, structures, and things that float around that just watch human activity. There was an angel, but there was no Holy Spirit. So essentially, it's one of those that are going to turn to Jesus one day. There was the Spirit of God over there, but he was not in a person, but from without. And the Muntu did not cry out to God to get saved. And yet, the Spirit suddenly came in the body and death was eradicated. Okay, the Spirit left again, but obviously, they're going to turn. So from that incident, from that day, Satan is just going to make their lives hard. And my life was exactly like that. If I had not taken those pills, my youth, my upbringing might have been a little bit better. But just in so taking them, I was rescued. I believe today I can confirm it, that the Spirit of God was in me on the day when I took those pills. But other times when I nearly met with death, it wasn't the Spirit coming in me, but just eventualities that by providence essentially dodged me. Like a bullet just kind of grazing your brow, leaving a little scar over there, but not ending you. If at all an entity sees that the reason why you frankly dodged a bullet was because an angel pushed you with like a wind out the way, you're totally born. So you might as well just get born again and start fighting with us. Otherwise you're going to live a horrible life as a pagan. At some point you will give your life to Christ. You will. You must. You are predestinated. And so you are invincible until you get saved and until the Lord says it's your time to go. The devil will be gunning for you. And that particular day, the Spirit came in me and I was talking with God even before the Spirit came in me. And because I felt so much euphoria from the Spirit, I stood up again and tried to talk to my mom and my sister in the kitchen. And for a third or a fourth time or whatever, again, I was told, "Ay, Gabo!" and rebuked. Well, in this instance, then, I'm being rebuked again, though there is a joy in me that transcends all understanding. I was happy. Maybe it was the drugs. I don't know. Perhaps it was the euphoria of the drugs. Or it was the Spirit of God, but there was a joy in me. My mom and my sister flattened me again. It was just a horrible day. Yo, dog. So I went to my mother's bathroom. It was an ensuite bathroom. You went downstairs into it, like 2 or 3 steps to go to the bathroom from her bedroom. And I just lay on the floor in front of the toilet seat, on the bathroom mat on the floor. I just laid there in like a fainted position because I was looking for attention. I lay there in a fainted position. You know, like when you faint, you just faint like, ugh. Yeah, I made myself lie down on the floor in that kind of posture. But apparently amidst the pills that I had taken were sleeping pills. I did not know. I just took and they fell out cocktail. I did not know what they were. Some of them were beauty pills. Amidst them were sleeping pills. And y'all know how many people commit suicide with sleeping pills. Y'all know how lethal they are in extreme doses. When you don't take just enough, you could go to sleep and not wake up. Among the most lethal pharmaceuticals are sleeping pills when taken in excess. And I did not know amidst the cocktail of pills that I took, amidst them were sleeping pills. I would only come to find this out when my mom was complaining that I took pretty much almost all her sleeping pills, and when the doctor confirmed that I had taken sleeping pills, because the doctor had to be told what exactly I took. I lay down on the floor like that. It was before the drugs took too much hold on me, and when I laid down on the floor over there, I was expecting to stand up again and just go to my bedroom and sleep. I just slept. I slept. I didn't die. I didn't faint either. I lay myself on the floor looking for attention, in a fainted position, like, ugh. But after like 2 or 3 minutes, I literally just slept. But I slept in that position, and so I looked like I fainted, though I put myself there in that position because I was looking for attention, when I was expecting that my mom and my sister were gonna come into the bathroom and then be like, yo, Karabo, and think I fainted. And then I would like low-key kind of come up on some, oh, I feel sick, and look at me finally get attention. But I literally just slept. And the next thing I remember was my sister shaking me, Karabo, 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 Karabo. And when she shook me, I came up and I was like, whoa! Everything in my stomach, I put on my sister. My sister was like, Karabo, 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 Ma, Ma, calling my mother. So the first person to find me was my sister. It wasn't even my mom. It was in my mom's bedroom. I told you guys that my sister was used by God mightily when I was on the come up to essentially take over my mom's responsibilities for me. That though every so often she would rebuke me and not take me too seriously, she was a lot more mothering towards me. And it was my older sister that I would imagine was given an impression maybe on her spirit. She just go to I get into my mom's bathroom and in an ensuite establishment. So if my sister wanted to use the toilet, she would have gone to what do you call this thing? She would have gone to the main toilet, the one that is for everybody in the house. But instead she came to my mother's bedroom. My mom was called by my sister, I remember that. My mom was called by my sister. So my sister essentially just went to the bathroom of my mother, which is the incorrect bathroom, not incorrect, but the least likely bathroom that she would use if she needs to use the loo. The most likely one was the one in the house, for the house, not my mom's ensuite, but she went there. And then and her out from the, like when she lifted me from the floor, all over her body, all that stuff just came out. Essentially, I believe God impressed on her to go check, and in particular go bathroom and everything in her stomach. Go and make her vomit everything in her stomach before she foams at the mouth and enters eternity. So when my sister lifted me, and it was that vomiting that I did when my sister first shook me that then was the first order of salvation for my life, as I had nearly taken myself to eternity prematurely. And listen, I can't even tell you where I would have gone. I don't even want to speculate because it didn't happen. It did not happen. Ooh, yes, like it. But I would vomit for the next, couple of days thereafter. And my mom, I remember this very starkly, very clearly. I was trying to get, in particular, her attention. My sister and I had sibling rivalry. I didn't care what she thought about me. My sister and I had sibling rivalry. I didn't care what she thought about me because we were little children that were always just scratching at each other. We had like a bittersweet relationship. It was my mom that I was gunning for. It was my mother I was gunning for. It was my mother that I was gunning for. And you know what she said? Why mara le busy lenze lenga dipilisi tsaka? Le nwa dipilisi next thing tshwantse ke lise ko. My mom ha chikana. She chikanas in plural verbiage. Plural verbiage. So she could be chikaring just me, but then she will say, why le etsa so? Why le sa tlhatsudishana? Why le tsena taba? Le o re kitseng? Why le? Even though it's just one child that she's yelling at. So she was busy talking to me or something. Like, it's a bit why little nka dipilisi. Little dipilisi next thing tshwantse ke lise ko doctor. Like udisa, why le ketsa so? Like tlhatsisa. Though my sister didn't do any such thing. It was just me. But she was speaking in plural terms. She still does it to this day. So I don't know what's up with that kind of language, but whatever. Let her do whatever. It's her nuance. Okay? And so in this sickly state where I am vomiting like a tap, my mom takes me to her car to drive me to the nearby local clinic place, medical joint that's open 24 hours a day. And I was sitting in the back of the car with a bucket in the car, and my mom was like, I remember her telling my sister, and my sister took a bucket. I'm in so much pain. My sister took a bucket on some, okay? And she sat with me at the back of the car while my mom drove. And she was stroking me on some, you'll be fine. She was sad and she was broken and she didn't want to lose me. But my mom was angry. My sister was like, shh, you'll be fine. And every time I felt nauseous, she would take the bucket and put it under my mouth. This is a 13-year-old and I'm 11 and she's more careful for what just happened than the mother in this equation. She was the one that took care of me the whole time when I was recovering. And my mom was just really angry that I did that and took her out of her element and she had to drive me to the clinic. She was just mean. My mother was mean and she was annoyed. I don't know why she was not scared that I would die, but my sister was. My sister was the one that was made to come to the bathroom to check on me, and she's the one that shook me until I vomited. I guess that was a spirit that God could use, because in herself she was a child. But look at a grown-up be nice and calloused and not care about what's going on, because listen, woman got issues. So my sister's spirit was more malleable by God, and she was used mightily when I was growing up to buffer the blows of my mom. And ever since that event, it's like my sister secretly just took it upon herself to have my back, because she saw that my mom doesn't care about me. My sister's always on birthdays. She was the one that used to get pocket money. I didn't. She would buy me cake. She took care of me, but then one day, of course, I got born again, and now we're enmity. But my older sister was among the most shocking conversions to darkness. Like, the way that she just did such a 180, she changed so badly. When I got saved, that I was in most denial about her. Everybody else already had character flaws that were anticipated, and so I had a God. What do we call this thing? I had what's the word that I'm looking for? I had a coping mechanism against everybody. But my sister was the one person that I never thought would change, because she was consistent until a certain point, and she did such a 180 that it shocked me. So now today, I don't have a shock absorber, except I do. It's always the person that is yet to get too taken over by too much death, because they're not yet that calloused, that functions as a shock absorber. And God has always, I guess, made one available, but in dwindling measure, because I guess I'm being forged in strength, right? But that was God's idea and plan. That was God's plan and idea all this time. It was to open, I guess, my sister's eyes up to realize that you're the one child that everybody's looking at, and your little sister, no one is looking at her. So you better look at her, and she did. She essentially fulfilled her mission in Christ. Though she was not Christian, and today she is the most diametrically opposed to the cross family member of mine, immediate, that exists. She is the most hateful of God. Even my mom fakes being a Christian every so often. My sister is not even trying to mess with any of that. So I guess the devil knew that if I can just knock that one out, now that she's born again, she'll have no one. And indeed, I guess it worked like a charm, but I'm ensconced now, and now I am aware of the legion of angels around me, the cloud of witnesses, those who are with me that are more numerous than those who are with them. I am a warrior in myself, and I have been forewarned, and so I'm strong. But you see, that event where I wasn't even trying to commit suicide, but in my naivety as a child, having little knowledge, little understanding, I feel like there's tissue on my face, because I can almost see it from the corner of my eye. With the little understanding that I have today, not little, sorry, I've lost my train of thought. Oh yes, yes, with the little understanding that I had as a child, I could not have imagined that would end me, that would kill me. But listen, now that I think back, there was way too many pills, and amidst them were sleeping pills. Ignorantly, I was gonna die if God did not send my sister to shake me until I vomited. And well, I kept on vomiting for the next couple of days until I recovered. And listen to this, there was no damage of internal organs, no damage, no overdrive on my liver, no overdrive on my pancreas, no overdrive on any internal organs. I did not even need to go for scans, and I did not ruin something in me permanently. But I took so many pills that's the kind of thing that would ultimately render you even a diabetic. But that was not the last time that I took pills. Because of my mom. I never wanted to commit suicide. I just wanted her attention, and for some strange reason, I did it one more time, thinking that this time it's gonna catch. But the second time that I did it, I was still in primary school. I never did any of this in high school. I became mature. This time I could have been a standard 5, grade 7. Again, my mother had hurt me. She was ignoring me. My mother, like, listen, sometimes she wouldn't even give me lunch money or taxi fare, like, just to punish me. So I took pills. I was still a student at Winchester Ridge Primary. I took a bunch of pills, remembering the first time that I took them when I didn't die. But this time around, I worked really hard. I must just look sick because I wanted to get attention from my mom by looking sick, by being sick. If I can be sick, maybe she'll be nice. So I took a whole bunch of pills to make myself sick. But I did not want her knowing that I took pills because I guess she was like, the first time. Indeed, she didn't know. But I went to her in the middle of the night and I was like, and indeed, I was sick and I was vomiting. You're taking me out of my way. Yo, dog. Listen, even when I'm sick, you don't care. Again, my sister was in the car with us, drove to the clinic. The doctor on shift that night was lazy and he wanted to go home, and it was a graveyard shift. Gave me pills to stay the vomiting, and he discharged. He just sent me home. But listen, I've got toxins in my body and I'm vomiting and I'm not getting better. My mother was annoyed with me when we got back home because the doctor just gave me pills to deal with the vomiting. The next morning, it's like my stomach was being torn to shreds. I believe the Lord allowed me this time around to get that sick that I might never ever do that again because the pain was just too extreme. The second time around, it was not like the first. There was no spirit of God over there. God let me go through the pain that I might by negative reinforcement never do it again. He made me vomit, did not let them end me. And I was taken to the doctor the first night. My mom ignored me, didn't go to school the next day. I tried to wake up to go to school. Because the doctor sent me home like there was nothing wrong with me. And my sister, since I was vomiting in the bathtub when I was bathing in the morning, since I was sleeping with a bucket next to me, my sister was like, Karabo, you can't go to school. My sister and not my mom came into my bedroom and she was like, Karabo, you can't go to school, wakula. And when my sister saw the bucket and all throughout me bathing, she was like, you cannot go to school like this. Stay home. So ngashiwa endlini without going to school. And I guess my sister advocated for me to not go to school, but never mind that. My mother was not the kind to force us to go to school because we were never truants. We were not scared of hoya skolong. So if we wanted to stay home, for whatever reason, she let us. So my mom was not forceful of me going to school. But the suggestion that I must stay home, that came from my sister. Fine, I stay home and I don't go to school. Yo, but the pain, listen, I was vomiting. The whole day I was in so much pain. I did not know what to do. I was writhing. So my grandmother was still alive at the time, thank God. My grandmother died when I was in high school. This was still primary. The night before she was passing me, she was angry that she had to take me to the Medicross or the clinic, whatever, down the road. And the doctor, because the doctor just got rid of me because he was working a graveyard shift, that's why I thought that he labs. She just imagined that because I was always written off as something different. So and I was like, Mama, yo, I'm sick. My grandmother then counseled me to drink a solution. My grandmother just like gave me a whole bunch of counsel by. After that, got on the phone, called my mom on Sunday. She just called me. I called my grandmother on the landline. And when I was calling my grandmother, I was on the floor, dog. The way that I could not stand up straight because I was so sick. I had this like long cord, you know, like landlines. Back in the day, they have that coiled cord. And Yakohaya was so long that you could go to like my mom's bedroom. You could go outside. Like, yeah, because the cord was just like crazy lanky long. And so I was I was on the floor first in front of the phone. And then I was in the kitchen. She told me that I must mix water with some sugar. It'll subside the vomiting. She told me that I must drink some water with some sugar. It'll subside. So that's just what I did. I did exactly what my grandmother said I must do. Made no difference. But after talking with my grandmother then called my mother. She's frankly just dying. You need to go and deal with that. I did not know that my grandmother called my mom. I did not call my mom because she was apathetic, entirely like annoyed. With the she had to take me to the clinic. So when then my mother came back home, within like about an hour of the phone call that I made to my grandmother, when she opened the door to come back home, I was surprised. I thought it was my sister coming back from school early or whatever, but it was still morning. But it turns out that it was her, my mom. And I was surprised that she came back, and I realized at that stage that my grandmother had called her. Or maybe my grandmother called me back. And when I answered, she was like, your mom is coming. What? I can't remember. But she came within like an hour. And while she immediately responded and came back within an hour, she was annoyed. She was irritated. She was evidently of the imagination that I took her out of her comfort zone. And she just told me at that stage, I had started to wear school uniform because ne ke hlapile and everything was saying. Ka tsena ke robetse ka hempe ya school fela le penti kompetong. And my mom was like, apara borukhu or apara skirt or something. She was annoyed with me. She was annoyed, dog. Hang tu sa ke lo apara borukhu bona or skirt sa teng. Because I was just so immobilized. And then in terms of walking, I told you guys that and then I sat down, dialing on the kitchen floor to get to cupboards and whatnot, because I had to be in a bended, almost like fetal position to feel less pain. Well, my mother made me walk, baby. She made me walk to her car. I'm like, what, 12 or 13? A 12-year-old, a 13-year-old is kind of big to be getting carried around like she's 6 or 7. But if she's sick, you carry her. Same way that you would carry even a 40-year-old woman if she's too sick to walk to the clinic, to the hospital. And imagine, Mina, as a child, I was really very skinny. I was like lanky. I was skinny and tall. So I was a lightweight. My mother couldn't even carry me. And it's Winchester Hills, yo, dog. These steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever, there were so many stairs. Yeah. I went down those stairs, went into the car, and then she drove me to the same clinic. But this time around, there was a lively, bright and bushy-tailed awake doctor that was on shift. And when this doctor saw me, he immediately ordered labs, took my urine, took my blood, pressed me around my waist area and was like, whoa, I'm gonna send her home with this medication. If she's not better, come back. We might need to admit her. They did the labs, and the ones that they could immediately get results for, the doctor came back and was like, there is a great deal of toxicity in your daughter's body. Her kidneys are in overdrive. Her liver is in overdrive. And based on certain certain counts, she might even be diabetic. That's what the doctor said. I didn't confess to not even a single person that I took pills. The doctor was like, your daughter might be diabetic, but she's sick. And if she does not get better within these couple of days, we might have to admit her. We're gonna do more labs to see if she's got diabetes, because there is an excruciating amount of, when alcoholics drink a whole bunch of alcoholism, they then get diagnosed with like stage 2 diabetes or whatever stage, I don't know, because of how much the is it the pancreas or the liver has to work in overdrive and converts that alcohol to sugar. But because there's just so much alcohol in there, it then gives them a form of diabetes, and if they stop drinking, then they recovered. My sister had that going down. But the doctor had no idea what I had done, and I was not about to confess it because my mom was in the business of yelling at me. It's raining outside, so my voice is going to go up a little bit. She was in the business of just yelling at me. Last time, remember when I took the pills, and I did not want to say this, I was trying to get her attention, and the mission to get her attention was in being sick. But when I got sick, in spite of me not having taken pills, she was still aloof, apathetic, and annoyed that I had to wake her up in the morning to take me to the doctor. The next day, my sister was the one that told me to stay home. I called my grandmother, and when I called my grandmother, she was still annoyed. So I realized in that moment when I was as sick as I was, that my mother does not care whether I fall sick by taking pills or self-harm, or if I just fall sick. For her, it's an inconvenience to take herself out of herself, to take me as her child to the clinic. So I literally got to a conclusion at the age of 12, going on 13, that I won't ever win with this woman. I got to a conclusion, and that conclusion was awarded me, I believe, by God, because if at all I had continued to want the affection, the love, and the approval of my mother, I would have ultimately committed suicide, just trying to handle my mother. I know of a guy, long ago, when I was still dating my ex-boyfriend, one of my ex-boyfriend's friends committed suicide because of the very thing that I'm talking about today, where parents are so incredibly ridiculous, neglectful, just monstrous, like don't have children, that kids be out here committing suicide. And if at all you don't, listen, I can't really say that to children because kids always want the affection of their parents. So I can't say that if you don't help yourself get over parents. I can't say that to children because they're always going to want the affection of their parents. But I was given a maturity. I was given a maturity very early. And that maturity forged a certain portion of my personality. The portion of which was, you don't want me, fine, go. A portion of my personality that said, I don't need you, I got this. Because it was what do you call this thing? It was a coping mechanism. I was dealing with wanting affection from somewhere and not getting it. And I was trained by my mother to essentially ignore that I want stuff, that I need stuff. Because if at all I can put a callus around me about the need of stuff, then no one can ever hurt me. No one can ever hurt me. Because if they are of the imagination that I'm just divorced, despondent, aloof, and kind of standoffish, like careless, they're not going to be given power over me to essentially use that to mess with me. It's why people don't know I apparently can sing. It's why people don't know that I'm bubbly, I'm bouncy. It's why people don't know this side of my personality, except maybe some of my cousins, because I let loose, I let them hang, I let my brassiere go amidst certain people. But the grand majority of people would look at who I am today here in my ministry and be like, where was this person all along? Yeah, she was hiding from all you little creeps that are in the business of trying to act like a person is not a thing when they are in the sight of God. God trained me from the time I was a child to essentially not give two hoots. That you don't give two hoots. So Pina Elia Sam Smith, I'm way too good at goodbye. Because Mamela, I'm good at goodbye. Ex-boyfriends, the moment they went around, I didn't sit around and grovel and beg, oh baby, but why are you acting all funny? Oh darling, why are you acting all strange? I was like, yo, okay, bye-bye. As a teenager, one of my boyfriends, he was shocked. One time I say to him on the phone, I love you. My first love broke my virginity. I was like, I love you. He was like, yeah, I love you too, but don't say it so much, you might just wear it out. My mom moved out of the house where we were staying in Naturina. And back then I didn't have a cell phone because it was totally feasible for people not to have cell phones back then. I didn't have a cell phone. We had only a landline. I had only his number. And we had a landline go Naturina, but we moved out. I moved out with my mom and I didn't tell him. I moved out with my mom and I didn't tell him because I was like, you think just because you broke my virginity that I'm gonna actually grovel at love, like making like India Ari, I am ready for love, singing a whole bunch of ballads to Crazy Boy that is out here dilly-dallying, dancing around on my head, tap dancing like he's a star performer, like he's Fred Astaire with notes out here hitting them high. Like he's a musician. Because as a teenage girl with the first guy that she ever loved that took her virginity, she is going to grovel and beg. I was like, you don't know. I done groveled, honey. I done begged at the merciless feet of a lady that was supposed to love me. And she didn't. And twice I took pills and nearly died. And she still didn't care. So my darling, who are you? You're just a boy. You're just a boy from outside. And so if you take my virginity, you're not exactly pills in my stomach, are you? That have to get pumped by the Holy Spirit. You're just a boy that don't care. That I don't like getting hurt by such nasty little words coming from your mouth. So I'm gonna move out and I'm not gonna tell you. Amen. And I did just that, and still to this day was shocked to a point of using witchcraft on me on some how in the world did this chick just walk out. She moved out and I went to go and visit her because she stopped calling me. Landline yakobona, I can't reach it. And then I knock on the door, Coco. Abantu abavulayo. I'm here to see Karabo, what's good? Ah no, abantu that used to live here, abamuvile. Bah. Look at that go. Bah, gavel. Dankisa. I prided myself in just dumping dudes. Another guy, the one that I dated after that one, player for days. Alipizi mo distrathings as Soweto. Ile hot boy, yako Rockville. Sure. He was passing me shade and not calling me every day like I insisted. If at all you want me to stick around in your life, dude, you better at least call a sister like what? I know you're a player. I'm taking that in my stride, aren't I? Gehepi ubarechte. Mara usang phoneli every day. Nyokshi, I know. I'll tiki mo. Hang phoneli every day. One day ngamzibanje, I ignored him for something like 3 weeks. By the time I finally responded, I was like, akere hao na taba long phonela so lena akina taba roita lanka wen. He straightened up. He flew right. And look at that, I got a phone call from my boyfriend every single day. I was like, yeah, now I feel like irechte instead of one of your crazy jump-offs. Now you better straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and play right. Yeah, that was before people started manipulating me with witchcraft. Then I mean, when I would date a dude that out here is into random spells, I'd try to leave. But like Macy Gray, I try to say goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and I stumble and I try to hide it. It's clear my world crumbles when you are not here. Goodbye and I choke. There was one boyfriend that I tried to dump, I tried to leave, I tried to basically hold on to. I'm way too good at goodbye, but I couldn't because I would leave him and keep on coming back, leave him and keep on coming back, and then I would get born again in the Lord Jesus Christ out of that relationship, and then I would find out that's why I try to say goodbye and I choke. But do you see how possessive God was of me on that day? When finally a dude that I was dating so it fit to use witchcraft on me to keep me in the room when I generally tended to walk away when I was not appreciated in a space, and that's what God indeed intended for me to be like. Don't accommodate them. Do not allow toxic people to stick around because they're going to be out making out of you an ugly mother. You don't want to be like your mom. But if a man is going to make you stay on that I'm going to deliver you from. He's the one I'm going to deliver you from. I'm going to train you before you come to me to walk away from anywhere where people be out passing you shade. But when then a person decides that he's clever, this one, and then uses immunity that you don't understand and you just feel a pull to keep on getting back together with a crazy guy, that's the one that's going to essentially be a monument as to what I do when my called servants are now held hostage by someone that is using magic on them. Both of those guys used witchcraft on me eventually. The ones I just spoke about, but when I was younger. The one that I moved out of my mom, no, that I moved out with my mom to live somewhere else and I didn't tell him, right next to the one when I sabatlong phonela. I became phone. But now when I was with them, in the moment, in the relationship. But only once we broke up years down the line, coming at me like a flying kick, because people are to be using retrospective sorcery. Oh, there was this chick that I used to be loving when I was 17 years old, and I can't stop thinking about her. So now that I'm getting married, now that I'm 27 years old, I'm gonna make sure she don't get married because I'm still feeling her. So I'm lawyer and I'm 27. They did witchcraft on me since I was the one that I was with, however, when I was like 22 to 25, the one that I was with for 5 years, I know inside the relationship. Yeah, I know he was busy with me. I'm way too good at goodbye. And then he realized you're good at goodbye, Lona, apparently. I got them and he bewitched me. One, telling me something that made me bleed for like 3 months on a loop. Guyanese couldn't figure out what's going on until the bleeding stopped on its own. He caused sex to burn and hurt, and even my urine after sex. Though I wasn't supposed to be fornicating, he did as well to essentially make me not go out on him, and it ruined even our sex life. I know some flames. And so I was Macy Gray all up in that grill. Macy Gray, baby. Just Macy all the day long, all the day. And we're talking now about all these crazies that be trying to make ladies Macy Gray. Or men, depending really on how these things go. Banna ba loyang basadi, basadi ba loyang banna. Di korobela, di love curses. Lita ba you be making people accommodate polygamy bangas by, even though I'm bafanit. My mom that day, when that doctor said that I basically was coming down with diabetes, not that you can come down with diabetes like it's the flu. When the doctor gave essentially that grim diagnosis, that's only from that moment. Listen, only then. She blossomed like a flower, opened up like a ray of sunshine, and became kind to me. She nurtured me back to health. Mega tugile that I might die. Which then brings me to exactly what's going on even today. Umawa magafuna ukuthi ngishona. Angakhala nje inyembezi eziphuma igazi ngikhala. Kodwa in the run up to, she will have been nicely neglectful of me, enough for me to ultimately die, and she would recount her steps and recognize that what she did killed me, but she would have been walking in such calloused, apathetic, aloof ways that would have sent me to the precipice of death. And if it was not for Jesus Christ, I would have indeed died. She has done this to me before, she's doing it again. And the devil knows what are the trigger points, the pressure points that people be out pressing that can ultimately drive me to suicide, because of what were the pressure points that drove me to the attempts of it. Though I wasn't actually trying to die, so I can't even call it attempted suicide. I was just looking for attention. I was not trying to die. But the devil knows what were the trigger points, the pressure points that were pressed in me that caused that self-destructive behavior. And he is this excellent architect of refashioning, remodeling, remaking, reimagining. Reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is the exact perfect word over here. The devil is in the excellent business of reverse engineering those which were the perfect conditions that ultimately caused a person to attempt suicide, but they survived it. Uyazi. It is, listen, I can't call it a door, because if it's a door, if it closes, then no longer are you ever going to feel suicidal ideation ever again. It is essentially a struggle for life that you must make war with. And you must do everything in your power to try and eradicate circumstances in your life that could be reared up as an ugly head that could bring this on board. But if at all they're entirely out of your control, this is here, when, then, now, you gotta be faithful. You gotta look at the Lord, recognize that all is not what it seems. You have to use the Bible to put salve on your open wounds. You have to enable yourself alone to see Uguti. All is not what it seems. And you got someone that is out there paying all different kinds of attention to you all the day long. And his name is Jesus. Jesus. Wonderful Counselor, Almighty God. The devil knows what your pressure points are, but Jesus is that guy that won't let them be pressed and pressed all the way in. And if you tap into him, he will grant you a peace and a serenity that transcends all understanding. It hurts when parents don't care what their kids are going through and what they're doing, and when they are so neglectful that kids end up committing suicide, and these here baboon parents end up regretting it and spending their lives just cogitating on how they facilitated the ripe conditions for their kids to die. I told my mother that December that I've got suicide ideation, and now she's acting in ways that are just so incredibly bizarre. Now today, as I speak, I was singing, and to hint to me that warasa. When I went back to the house to try and use the bathroom, when I locking the key in, I let sleeping dogs lie. Why? I wanted to use the loo. I peed in a bucket and washed my hands with shampoo. I didn't tell you that because I did not want to share it. But now you know. I peed in a bucket, poured the contents out, go draining ka rinsa, ka tlhapa matsogo ka shampoo, ka tlhapa ka tshasa matsogo, telling myself that when the sun has risen and the domestic worker comes in and checks in for work in the morning, about 8:30, that's when I'm probably gonna finish doing this message. So she's gonna have to open the house. She's gonna have to umpulela. Not humpulela, mara she's going to have to remove skia from the ignition. When she finally, when I went to go and brush my teeth, remember earlier, I went to the house to go brush my teeth. When I went to go brush my teeth, and then my baby sister's not here. When my little sister's here, she acts a little bit more rationally. That's why God has given me a buffer in my little sister, because my older sister is still a little monster. Today, she's acting alright, but my little sister is more innocent than most. For now, so Akuko as the hectic with her. If little sister were megacon, I would not be enduring this. So frankly, I am hopeful that God is gonna bring back my little sister. My baby sister I have access to indlu. She hasn't been talking to me for, I think it's like a month and a half now, for no reason. Maybe it's because because she's treating me badly. So she just stopped greeting altogether. So I school me son, isn't that I'm supposed to do operating and I'm carrying on as normal. I get about bana. They treat you like trash. And then when you basically just tell them fine, go, I'll do my own thing. They then are like, listen, why aren't you paying me attention? It's like you treat me like trash, and then when I walk away, you throw your toys out the cart. But then when I'm back again to being fresh towards you, you give me grief. I can't stand your hot and cold demeanor, but the only reason why you're treating me like this is because you know I have nothing to my name. And so you are to be emotionally harassing me. Your bread buttered on both sides while you're treating me like the scum of the earth. What do you want? You're the one that stopped talking to me. I did not stop talking to you. You did that. So what in the world do you want from me, woman? Do you want a daughter or do you want a robot? Angas. After all these months and a half, 2 months of not ukungi kulmis, mara the way she's not buying my animal food, so I'm gonna have to go and use what little sense I have to buy my own cat food. And on top of that, passive aggressive, but it's been largely innocuous. She's not treating me like, she's not telling me hamba puma hasangoba that she used to do, right? Mara today in particular, and I'm like, why are you acting weird? You're acting like my sister when she is like, it's just at the height of her drunkenness. You're acting like the drunk when she is drunk, and so all she can do is just do weird stuff in the house. This is not like you. Oh, I see. What you want is for me to be sweet and kind and essentially groveling and begging at your feet, licking your toes, chewing them like they're bubblegum, while you get to continue to brittle me, whip me, mistreat me, pull out my hairs. You want me not to scream when you punch me. You want me to just suck it up and take it. I'm human. A robot that is not responding emotionally to pain, outwardly, in a behavior, demeanor. She wants me to walk around with a smile and greet and do everything that a daughter does, but with no reciprocity. You are not my jailer. I owe you cleaning and keeping everything in a bunch and being useful, but I don't owe you presence and comfort when you are giving me none. That, my darling, I in myself have no capacity to give too much of it because I am bereft of it myself. You're not gonna make me take care of you in hospice care as you're insisting on dying in spirit, while in myself I'm being pursued by bandits that want me dead. You've put me at the merciless, sharky floors of licentious men, and I'm trying to run from them. And this work that I'm doing is to do just that. Flee from beasts that are trying to make me soften my way too good for goodbye. Way too good at goodbye demeanor. Attention from batho ko satane o tlo isebedisa. Modimo o nrutisitse go tshega go le botlhoko. Modimo o nthusitse to always look at the bright side, silver line at the end of every cloud. I went through my life looking at silver linings, and I had them littered across my life. Enough for me to get over in WT. My mom was apathetic, aloof, despondent. I was independent. I have told you stories. When I was in high school, my mom bought me school uniform once at the beginning of grade 8 and never again. All the way to matric, 5 years. As if those shoes don't wear. Christ made sure, God, he made sure in the wilderness when the Jews got out of the land of slavery, that supernaturally, this is apparent over there. That is the amount of care that God has. Oh, goodness. Listen, I chose right. I chose God. When the Jews came out of Egypt, they were in the wilderness for 40 years. And in that time, Their clothes did not wear out. Their shoes did not wither. Their garments did not tear. Because God knew that they couldn't make new clothes. That's a parent. He cares for every jot and tittle, every crack and crevice, every last square centimeterage of your person. He cares for it enough for if you have no resources. He will even perform such a miracle as that you might undermine. That you went into the wilderness wearing the same clothes that you have to interchange, washing them every so often in rivers, but they don't wear out, they don't change color. The soles of the shoes don't wear for 40 years. You go wear a sock for 40 years and see what happens to it. You go wear a shirt for 3 years every day and see what's going to go down with that shirt. And my mom was so negligent that when I started high school, she bought me school uniform once. At the beginning of grade 8 and never again. So what did I do? I was lost. I did not have this God that would avail supernaturally to me without theft. I was smart. I've told the story before. There was a time when I think I had left something of mine at school and I went to the groundskeeper to try and locate it to see if it's at lost and found. Was it me or no? It was my friend. It was my friend. One of my friends lost something after netball practice and she asked me to go with her kimokabe. So lost and found. She asked me to cover her at lost and found and I went with her. And she went to the groundskeeper Goskolom. And the groundskeeper was an older guy that would grab his like mini keys for lost and found things that kids lost in the school and just open for you and stand outside, smoke a cigarette and let you do what you want to do. So my friend went in there. She was like, can we look for my maybe like shoes or my netball kit in here? And I went in with my friend and we looked for her netball kit, at which point I've got this like oversized blazer. It could be like grade 10 maybe or even 11. I've got these socks that are basically turning yellow. I've got these winter socks that are, I have to hold them up or these guys are down my feet. I've got this like shiny skirt because I kept ironing it on the surface and it now looks kind of nasty. I've got this jersey that I drip dried that is mohodu. My friends used to call it mohodu. I made it work because it had lost elasticity and that's my school uniform and my mother was just not replenishing it. I would not come home and her be like, we need to buy you new school shoes. I did not get new school shoes, guys. You need a new pair of Buccaneers at least every 2 years. At least. All throughout high school. What the heck, dog? To a point where the shoes that I was wearing one time over there and I had to walk with tact over that or my toes stick out. Why my mother did not see this shoe, look at it. I didn't even report it to her the way that's not and therefore take me to Woolies, wherever anything. Why she didn't do this? School shoes are among the cheapest. And my mom could not even have that kind of regard, the way she was so aloof. So on the day when I went with my friend to Lost and Found and I saw just a cornucopia of lost school uniform in this place, just sitting around heaped in piles, while my friend was out there digging through all the stuff looking for her thing, and the groundskeeper being outside smoking a cigarette. Listen, it dawned on me I'm a sinner at this point. I'm still a sinner today, but I'm saved by grace. I'm not born again. I have no conviction of sin. I was like, listen, who's gonna know? No one's gonna know. Who's gonna know? No one's gonna know. They're gonna know. No one's gonna know. They're gonna know. No one's gonna know. I was like, I'ma go. It's school uniform. It's not like it's a cute little Calvin Klein jacket like the one that was stolen from Migovitz University. That I left after an exam. It's not like it's a cute little pleated skirt that you left after being at a stay over with a friend.